Hi. Okay. So I'm jumping into the first video of my 7-day challenge for dissolving disempowerment. First, I want to talk about what exactly is disempowerment. Before I say this, I just want to give a disclaimer that I don't come from a space of authority in any way. I am just a fellow student of mental health healing, just as the way you guys are, everyone else is. And I am consistent with my healing, and I work with a lot of different coaches of different modalities. And and I've been consistently working on it for like the past 2 years, and from all that I've gathered, and I'm still learning, this is what I feel. And also I'm just coming from me as the example, going deep into my own feeling of disempowerment and how that felt like for me. So first and foremost, disempowerment feels on a energetic and in my body. It feels like immovability, but there is no way to actually unfreeze myself from that. If I were to give you a picture, it's like I'm being tied against a tree and a giant tractor is coming toward me and I can't do anything about it. That's what disempowering genuinely feels. Is this feeling of sheer powerlessness to do anything about what's coming at you, because we are so disconnected from the power, and it's not really our fault. It's the way things have been and so much of the programming that we took on. I've been feeling very disempowered lately. So I feel like it feels to me that disempowerment feels like I can't rely on anyone or anything. But at the same time, the great irony is that we live in an interdependent world. We are not just an interdependent species, like as in we are very dependent on one another. We are also very much interdependent with everything and anything that we interact with within the world that are quote unquote inanimate. I mean, I feel like everything, including technology itself, has consciousness. I've been struggling with this video for like, this is my fifth take. So that's just one example of the kind of patterns I'm right now really experiencing. And I take this as a opportunity from the universe to see unhealed patterns that are emerging and heal it. Okay. That being said, let me elaborate. For example, this is the harsh reality for humans and those of us who do feel this sense of disempowerment. Just picture this, like if the bus doesn't come, you cannot go home. If the internet is not working, you cannot watch this video and you cannot get the help that you need. But the caveat of the situation is that you need to go home and you must get help. We are an interdependent species living in a very, very interdependent world, where we are dependent on everything and anything and on each other to get our needs met. That's just the harsh reality of the world. Not really a harsh reality of the world, but given the circumstances, those of us who feel this deep sense of I can't bring about the change that I really want in my life. I'm so tired. I'm so screwed, to say. It feels like a harsh reality. But the irony is that we wish we could be a one-man island. While we came into this earth as a group species, humans are a very group species. It's not just a small infant or a child who is not able to walk that needs the dependence of a parent. It's every one of us. We need to rely on one another. No one really is fully able to has the capacity to sustain on their own. Let's say you live on your own, even then you need to go to the supermarket. You're reliant on the supermarket for food. You are reliant on your gadgets for your information and your work, most probably. You're reliant on the transportation for to get to one place or the other, or you're reliant on the car itself to work. We are It's not possible to live in a world attempting to control everything. Those of us who feel disempowered felt that breach of trust at a very young age, probably. At a very young age, when you probably were reliant on the people around you, maybe primary caregivers, maybe peers, and you needed that reliance on them. You had no choice. In that moment, that link between that interdependence from you and your other person got breached. So you learn to manipulate. I'll give you myself as an example. I am not an overtly controlling person. If you see me, you won't call me a type A, the type that wants to control everything. I won't even say that I'm much of a narcissist or someone who is very good at how do I put this? Talking in a way that is able to buy someone over. I have my strengths, but at a very young age, I learned the covert way of puppet mastering being the only way I can get my needs met. I'll give you an example. I was a very good student, actually, since young, and even up till my end of studies, I graduated from one of the top universities. Well, it's ranked one of the top in the world right now, so I have had that reputation of, wow, she's a good girl. And the reason is because I was able to endear myself to everyone, please everyone, and that was the only way I learned to get my needs met. I won't say that it's necessarily entirely the other person's fault that I am this way, but it definitely has to do with very early, very, very early childhood upbringing and all, so on and so forth. So, for example, I learned that in order for me to be in the good grace of my teacher, on whom I'm reliant on emotional support in school, because I never really wanted to go to school. I hated school. I was dragged into it. I knew I have to be in the good grace of the teacher so that she doesn't make me feel even worse. I learned how to be the best behaving child with the best grades so that she doesn't yell at me and I don't get administered any punishment. And If there was an event, let's say I never did a homework or I slacked off a little bit, I would go into an immediate frenzy, which was a disempowerment feeling, because my bond between me and that teacher wasn't really a real one. It was puppet mastering in a covert way. So I felt like, oh no, she's going to yell at me. This is just one example. I'm not going very, very personal, but I'm giving you a lighthearted example. Not really lighthearted, but like an example hopefully you guys can relate to, of how I learned to puppet master throughout my whole life. I felt like if I just did everything right, then I will get my well-being and my needs met. I didn't realize that well-being and needs are met in an interdependent way where you don't earn it, you deserve it. I realized it very late, well into the patterns that I led to me being very deep down in depression. Because by then I have completely lost all sense of individuality and traded it to be pleasing to everyone else. If I did that, then I will be safe. That's what I thought. The fact that you trust one another and it's a bond and a mutual understanding to have each other's needs be met by one another is a concept that never came to me. I'm just starting to learn it. So that to me is the core of disempowerment. If those of us who feel it, we cannot ease ourselves, we have to hold on to everything very tightly, because if we let go, all hell will break loose, and if all hell breaks loose, then I am in danger. It's the energetic feeling. That's not a good way to, that's not a sustainable way to live. After school you go to work maybe, and over there you have to work with colleagues and bosses. You don't have the resource to do your job and then make sure you go so perfect that you are not going to have any ups and downs with or a conflict with anyone. You cannot expect yourself to fully hyper study everyone and learn how to endear yourself or put yourself in a position where you don't get into, I won't say trouble is the word, but like you don't get into misunderstanding or in any way. You can't be yourself and then at the same time manipulate yourself to endear to everyone. It's not possible. And the more and more you grow up, if you have had these kind of patterns in school, it was easy because it's the formula is simple. All you need to do is do your homework, behave well, and behaving well just means just like stay quiet, don't be a troublemaker, and then just get good grades. And typically for, if you have the same kind of schooling upbringing background as I do, typically you're good. It's the formula for puppet mastering or manipulating your way into getting what you want is much simpler. once you go past that, it's really about interdependence and trust. It's you trusting the fact that other people are not going to harm you, or everyone has ill intention, or everyone is going to take advantage of you in any way if you just let go and if you're just being yourself. The root cause of it really is about lack of trust and fear of interdependence, and just expecting the worst and catastrophizing, and you giving away your power in that. And I have sympathy for everyone, not just for myself. I have sympathy for everyone. You're like this not out of choice, and you're not born in a way that automatically programs you this way. You learned it for a very good reason, and those patterns that kept you that way have served you. So thank them for bringing you up till this point, as my therapist says. But it's time for now to let go so that you can step into horizons that are newer, better, and more of who you are. You make empowered choices, and you're not scared of everybody and everything out in the world. You're able to be yourself, and as long as we give away our power and then disconnect us from ourselves as we move around in the world, we will never be able to create the life that we truly desire. And it takes a lot of courage, and it's not a one time one and done. Because these patterns have been in those of our lives, it has been for really long. Your healing might come in layers. This is not my first time that I encountered this pattern. Just within this year alone, I fell on multiple times that instant crisis. That feeling of isolation and helplessness is barbaric. It really is. So I want to, first of all, you go inside. I want to challenge you to go within yourself. If you're already in the state of disempowerment, that's actually to your advantage in this exercise. Just for this exercise, don't take it out of context. Excuse me. Go within yourself. Feel that feeling of disempowerment. Fully feel it. Fully let it sink in, because so much of us being in a state of a pattern that don't serve us is being in a state of resistance and running away from it. You're not running away this time around. You're going to go deep in. You're going to fully feel that state of disempowerment that you feel, and let whatever come up. Do not judge a thing. See everything with it has to come. It has a purpose, and you're not at fault. And if it's possible, jot it down or record it. What exactly all the feelings that comes up, everything that comes up. I feel so hopeless. I feel so helpless. I always feel like people dropped the ball on me last time. Oh my God. Just when I needed, my internet stops working. Just when I needed, technology stops functioning. Like anything that comes up, all the feelings, cry it out. Do not resist this feeling. That's your first step. Fully feel it, fully understand and see into this pain, and do not judge it. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.